back to women. And now it's time for the one true love of my life. Yeah. All right, maybe the for true love of my life. So, Sheri Dawson, we worked together at the Lincoln Kmart at 48th and Vine Streets. And she worked back in the layaway customer service area. I was on my... See, that right there was one of the problems. She made me yawn. Okay, so I was in my checkout supervisor glory. And Sheri Dawson, when she was youngish, 20-ish, was a little cutie pie, which for a 65-year-old broad, she kind of still is. So she was working back behind her little counter all alone. I had managed to procure some kind of a little gun that shot like Nerfy balls. So I snuck up on her area and shot her in the butt with one of these Nerfy balls. Now, two things. I was still on the shy end of life and couldn't just directly approach her, but more importantly, I shot that thing and hit her in the butt. Now, if you know anything about Sheri Dawson's butt, it was damn near impossible to miss. So that's the way that started. Some interesting things about the early relationship. We had a picture frame called The Pick. That was the name on the front of it. Piece of plastic, you stuck a picture in it, clear plastic, and it had a little base and it can lean back. Well, the pick became a running joke. That thing would show up everywhere. And, I mean, everywhere. Like in our cars, and how in the hell we got each other's keys is beyond me. And, I mean, that's one example. This pick thing went back and forth, I don't know, 10 or 20 times. So, kind of a cutesy little deal. Sheri had pretty good sense of humor. I was infatuated with Stevie Nicks, the little hottie singer-songwriter from Fleetwood Mac. And one Christmas, Sheri got me a VHS of Stevie Nicks doing 10 songs and strutting along like the little hottie she was. Thank you, Sheri. We used to dance to a song named Shout. Ooh, you make me want to shout, shout, shout. And that actually was like the second song at our reception. And we used to lay on the ground, and one part of it was a little bit softer now, a little bit softer now, a little bit louder now. And so we lay on the ground and eventually hit the ground and pop back up, and we had quite a bit of fun with that. We got engaged at Pioneers Park. It was the spring of the year, and it was muddy. And why in the heck I settled on that, I don't know. We had to put on galoshes. I don't know what she thought we were going to be doing, to put on galoshes and walk toward this Indian. But anyway, that's where we got engaged. After we were married, and by the way, we were rolling in dough back in those years. I was in my first year with the IRS, and I was making my famous $10,507 salary. Sheri was making $8,000 working at an insurance agency. So if we could have afforded a pot, we would have pissed in it. I worked at Target part-time nights and weekends to build bucks. Why am I yawning so much? Build bucks for a down payment on the house, our first house, at North 61st Street. And way north, like 60 blocks north in Omaha. It cost us, oh my God, $34,500. For the good old days. It was a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 1-car garage, and it became Adam's house because Sheri was able to quit her job at one point and start popping out babes. This little shit had the gall to call me Pills, which was short for the Pillsbury Doughboy. If you ever saw Ghostbusters, you saw the Pillsbury Doughboy. And the deal, this is going to take 7 hours. The deal with the Doughboy was during the commercial for Pillsbury, they would poke a finger into the Doughboy's gut and he would go, so she was calling me Pills. So apparently I've always been a fat ass. Travel with Sheri. Who hasn't heard the story of our first cruise to Alaska? Davis and Kari may look at this one day, so I'll give the brief version. I don't have a brief version of anything. Okay, we go to Alaska on a cruise. We're dirt poor. The cruise costs us $600 plus airfare to San Francisco, which was probably more than the cruise cost. Why was it so dang cheap? We had bunk beds. Very romantic. We get there, and I'm in line to figure out when and where we're going to eat dinner. Back in those days, and still today, they had an early seating and a late seating. And they had tables of various sizes, from 2 people to 10 people. And most people wanted to be on an 8 or 10 and have people to talk to. Today, I refuse to be at one of those tables and get a table for 2. I'm perfectly happy to eat by myself or find and invite some interesting person to sit with me. But yeah, I don't care. So I'm in line, about 25th in line to get the dining arrangement. They roll through until they get to the old fart ahead of me. Now, this dude was clearly in his 80s, and he says, I want to be in the second seating, 7:30 at night, at a table for 8 or 10. And Luigi was the maitre d', and Luigi talks to his right-hand man and says to the guy, I'm terribly sorry, sir, but all of our seating at tables for 8 or 10, both the early and the late seating, have been taken. I hope you understand you were a little late in the line. The guy explodes, and he says, well, I'll be damned if I'm gonna sit at a table just looking at this woman. We've been married for 60 years, and I've been a travel agent for 50. So the hell with that. So Luigi goes, ew, back to the drawing board and comes back and says, sir, a wonderful thing has happened. We were able to find you seats at a table for 8 in the second seating. And the old guy goes stomping off. I'm next in line, and it goes like this. Luigi, after that little demonstration, you put me anywhere you want to. And Luigi, little grin, goes and turns to his right-hand man, comes back and says, Mr. Dawson, would you like to sit at the captain's table? Being a rube and idiot at that point in my life, the rube point has gone away. Idiot stayed. Sir, you do want to sit at the captain's table. So that's where we were. We go down there that first night. There are 2 other late 20s, early 30s aged couples, and one aged like barely 40. And we're all looking around going, where's the captain? And a dude in the official Navy attire comes down and says, well, I have bad news. With getting out of the port and all the traffic in and around San Francisco, the captain won't be able to join you this evening. He sends his regrets. And we all go, oh, shit. This was our only chance to sit with him. Yeah, well. So we have dinner. Well, as it turns out, ye old captain had breakfast, lunch, and dinner with us every stinking day of the cruise. And we got to go on tours of the cruise quarters and a tour of the engine room and cocktail parties with dukes and duchesses. So we know him pretty well by night 5 or 6, and I ask him, what is going on that you end up with 4 young couples sitting with you? And he goes, Phil, I have been a ship's captain for 26 years. I am so sick of the world's dukes and duchesses that I just tell Luigi, find me 4 nice young couples who would be enjoyable for me, and this would be the experience of a lifetime, which it was. We cruised into something called Glacier Bay. And I think it was like 11 glaciers emptied into this one fairly small area. Spectacular. While we were in there, the National Park Service came on the ship, and we were on the bridge with these people as they were narrating what goes on. We got done with our cruise, and I said to my beloved, well, we are done traveling. And she said, what the hell do you mean by that? And I said, we will never improve on that trip. I mean, this was just spectacular. I'm trying to find my, oh, there it is, my cursor. Okay, other travel stuff. When I worked with Mike May, one of my large CPA clients, he took Sheri and I to the Club Med in Sonora Bay, Mexico. And they had an island about a mile away called Seal Island. Surprisingly, it was chock full of seals. And I had on my scuba gear, and I'm underwater, I don't know, 20, 30 feet. And these frickin' seals are not necessarily happy to see me, and they come running straight at me, and at the last foot maybe veer off before they just plow into me.